Welcome to another episode of the Lakeside View. I'm your host, Big Win. Along with me, I got Mario. What's going on, Mario?
Hey, same old, same old.
Oh man, what a crazy day! First day of official day of free agency, and I mean,
That started yesterday.
oh man, cats are flying off the board left and right. I mean, start off with the big fish, obviously Brooklyn Nets.
Yep.
They pick up not only Kyrie Irving but also Kevin Durant and DeAndre Jordan.
Yep.
I mean, nobody cleaned up like Brooklyn did today.
Which I mean, I don't even know how, to be honest. And this ain't even like in a negative way to like the Nets, but like, man, you were thinking of what the Knicks were lined up to do and what they wanted to do, and you heard all the story. Now, of course, it's coming out about Dolan not wanting to go max with Durant and all that kind of stuff. But you weren't expecting like the Knicks to completely whiff,
Yeah.
and the Nets to be the ones that get both.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, there were rumors about what can happen with these two guys, that they were talking together, they wanted to play together, but for the Nets to do it is I mean, you got to tip your cap. That you went in with a plan. You had Russell in your back pocket because they gave him the offer.
Mm-hmm.
So you were able to match anything. He was a full restricted free agent. You could renounce if you wanted to, and they just said the heck with it. Even though we have this all-star, we have this kid we like, we're still going to go and try to get Kyrie and KD. We're going to try to get two of the top 10 players in the NBA, which they both are.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. And they added DeAndre Jordan, which DeAndre Jordan has a history of, if you put talent around him and somebody who could throw him the ball when he's 3 feet from the rim, he's going to catch it and dunk it. So, I mean, do they have to wait for KD to heal? Yeah. But when you're Brooklyn and when you've been trying since you built that arena to put together something that is going to give you a run like you had in the 2000s, it's a complete win for them. They killed it.
Coming back from salary cap hell. I mean,
Yeah.
the deal they made with Boston, everybody said was the worst deal. They were in win now mode, which everyone knew they weren't gonna win.
Yeah.
Then you have a situation where Garnett retires or it goes to Minnesota, basically he retired,
Mm-hmm.
and you let Paul Pierce walk for nothing. He goes to the Clippers. They were just, I mean, the draft picks that they gave to Boston was ridiculous.
Yeah,
For the
crazy.
years that Boston controlled that organization. And then you look at Boston. I mean, what did they do with those picks? You end up basically getting Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of whiffed themselves, but
They don't have much. I mean, you still have Tatum.
yeah,
You're bringing in Kemba Walker, which I mean, we said on past videos. Kemba Walker, yeah, is he gonna run your point, and is he going to be a playmaker, and he's gonna need the ball a bit? Sure, he'll need the ball a bit, but I think him and Tatum will work much better than Irving and Tatum did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you still have pieces. You got Gordon Hayward. Hopefully he gets better and better after that horrible injury 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they lost Horford.
That's
Lost
huge.
Horford,
You
which
traded
was
Aaron Banks,
massive.
and then you traded Aaron Banks to the Suns.
Yeah, and Rozier's gone. So, I mean, you look at these pieces that they got from all these assets that they had from stuff like Brooklyn, and you have something left over, but
Not what you thought you would have.
you're not saying that this Celtics team with Kemba Walker is better than what ended the season.
Definitely.
It's just not. I mean, especially with Horford gone, the guy can go inside and out. He's going to be nasty with Philadelphia.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's going into another big signing today.
Yeah.
He's going to be nasty with Philadelphia. He's going to be there with Embiid, so you can't double team every time with him being able to just throw it across the lane to him. He could shoot from the outside, which is huge. He's going to spread out the floor for Philly a bit. Philly really put themselves in a good spot by being able to at least not just have Jimmy Butler walk, but to also get a sign and trade for him.
Definitely.
They just need outside shooter. All the smaller stuff like Redick gone. Redick left Philly. He went over to the Pelicans, which would be really good for them to, for them as far as depth. But yeah, I mean Philly. We're talking a little bit off camera first. They're right there, going to be like contending for that top spot in the East.
I agree, 100%. I mean, you look at the addition of Al Horford, who, like you said, is going to be the locker room guy. He's going to take over Jimmy Butler's leadership role.
Yeah.
But definitely. They kept Tobias Harris, which allows them to have somewhat of a floor spacer. I mean, the guy, he shot better in LA than he did in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
he's going to have to step that 3-point percentage up.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were able to get assets for the Jimmy Butler trade was huge. People knew that Jimmy Butler wanted that max contract. I think Philly looked at him like, we don't know if we're going to.
They like Harris more.
They did like Harris more.
Yeah.
They felt like he fit the system that they were trying to develop. They didn't know if Jimmy Butler's health. I mean, we talked about that before. He kind of is at risk because of the Tom Thibodeau years. And I think Philly definitely made out in this situation. They were definitely the second, winners on today's, free agency fiesta.
And I think real quick to end on Philly stuff. Philly had this guard that they drafted last year, and his name escapes me. I forgot what his name was, but he wasn't playing.
Markelle Fultz.
No, not Fultz. The other guy, because they traded Fultz.
Yeah.
But they had another guard, and his name escapes me right now because I know that he didn't get much playing time, but they really liked him and his talent coming up, and they're probably hoping that he's going to be the one that kind of covers for Redick. He's a quicker guard. He could do a little more, with the ball than Redick was, kind of more spot up, but they're probably hoping that he could at least fill 10 to 12 points and hoping to get something from that guard spot and 3-point. That's the only thing I think about Philly with you're going to need that backcourt guy that can do what Redick was doing for you last year. I think that's the only thing they may be exposed. When you have guard forward heavy teams in the East like Milwaukee and Toronto still, even if they don't keep Kawhi, these guys are guard heavy, small forward, very very agile small forwards on both those teams. You got Middleton going back to Bucks as well, to Bucks. So Philly kind of leaving themselves a hole there. I think that's where their weakness will be. But I mean, with Horford instead of Butler, Redick left. I still think Philly improved today.
Definitely. I mean, they got Josh Richardson from Miami. He was one of the guys that was traded. Not a great three-point shooter, but he is a high flyer. Definitely could put the ball in the hole. I don't know how much that's going to be useful when you have a guy like Embiid on the court, but he will be able to get you that 10 to 12 to 14 points that you're going to need on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
So like you said, I agree. I think Philly definitely made out today.
Yeah.
Next big winner, you're looking at Indiana. I mean, Indiana, they were able to pull Brogdon away from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You got Oladipo coming back. You signed Jeremy Lamb. I mean, those guys are going to be guard heavy as well, which it looks like is a theme of the East.
They went depth.
They definitely did go depth. You give up a little bit to get Brogdon, but in terms of the shooting that you're going to have, Brogdon can play both guard spots. So if Oladipo is sitting out at night, you could bring Jeremy Lamb in. You go big guard rotation. I think Indiana definitely did themselves a big favor by getting these guys today.
Yeah.
Another winner, Utah. They signed Bojan Bogdanovic from Indiana for 4 years, $85 million. I mean, they're really showing up that lineup, man. You put him at the 4 spot, he fits in perfectly with Gobert. You now have Connolly at your point guard spot along with Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
You have Joe Ingles at your small forward spot. The thing about Utah, they don't really have the depth. They traded away, Crowder and Korver to get Connolly. But that starting 5 is going to be pretty tough.
I think Utah's going to be scary, especially because everybody looks at Spider Mitchell and they're like, okay, what this guy did off his rookie year, and I think everybody just expected him to almost become an MVP year too.
Yeah,
you could see the first half of last year, dude didn't want it.
Yeah,
he put too much on that, and he almost heard all that. He saw everything that was being said. He must have read the preseason stuff. He must have just been like, okay, this is what's expected of me, so I got to do it. He started out the first third of last year. He struggled.
Yeah,
he struggled, and it showed. What Conley brings is that veteran leadership, somebody to handle the ball, and let Mitchell get hot and do his thing when he needs to just do it.
Right.
He doesn't have to facilitate and get everyone involved on top of also trying to be that big playmaker.
Right.
I think their starting 5 is, it's shored up nicely, man. And Bogdanovic, what he could do inside and out, especially out.
Outside.
Especially out.
From 3.
That's scary.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're going to be a problem going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a team that's relatively young. They're going to all be able to grow together. I mean, losing Favors is going to be pretty big.
Yep.
But the fact that they were able to put those guys on the starting lineup, it's going to be huge for them.
Yep.
Going into a team that didn't really do anything, the Kings. I mean, they re-signed Harrison Barnes. They get Dwayne Dedmon from the Hawks. They let Cauley Stein go. They were a team that did some things good last year, but I don't see those moves that they made really moving the needle.
Harrison Barnes' agent.
That
man.
He deserves all the money he gets.
Incredible, man.
Oh yeah.
For him to get basically Bogdanovic's contract.
Yeah, for Harrison
He got the
Barnes.
same exact contract for Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, I agree.
This man got 21 and what? 21 and a half or something like that. Harrison Barnes, good on you, man.
Yeah.
Like, listen,
Yeah.
you left a dynasty, I get it, and you went somewhere else, and you continue to put up some stats and this and that, but you're not a 21 per year player, man. Like, it's just not.
Not at all.
So, I mean, for you to get it, props to you. I get it. That's an overpay.
Yeah.
The Kings are going to be, what the Kings are going to do, the Kings are going to be good if their young stars continue to grow,
develop,
the way they started.
2 or 3 years down the line.
You know, that's what it is. If De'Aaron Fox ends up really just emerging as a huge guard in this league, it's not going to be because they signed Harrison Barnes.
Right.
He's depth. He'll be okay. He'll be fine. He'll do his thing. He'll shoot from the outside. But man, the Kings are going to push for a playoff spot because De'Aaron Fox is going to make them push for a playoff spot.
I agree. Him and Bagley. And, you know, the young guys on that team. Yeah, Buddy Hield. We see what those guys can do.
Yeah.
Going into teams that didn't really do anything, which we were expecting. Houston, there was a lot of rumblings that they were going to try to force Philadelphia into a sign and trade. That was kind of strange. They don't really have the assets. And
there's no space.
Yeah, there's no space. You know, I know they wanted Jimmy Butler. He was on their wish list, but not having cap space, you're paying Chris Paul $40+ million. You're paying James Harden $35 million. You're paying Eric Gordon $15 million.
And the other thing is too is that unless he gets better, because he was almost the same player from last year to this year, Clint Capella.
Yeah, you're paying him $15 million.
You're paying him $15 million, which right now, compared to what some of these guys are getting, you think $15 million isn't crazy. But like when he signed it and what they were expecting him to continue to develop to be, he better step up this year.
I agree.
Because they were even talking about getting rid of Tucker, trying to get into that sign and trade.
Yeah.
I mean, Capella he's got to get going.
Yeah, for a guy that you're paying all that money to, you can't play him in the fourth quarter against the Warriors. It's just
can't happen. That can't. And he played well last year against them. He played really well against them.
Come playoff time, he's a liability, and they got to figure that out. I mean,
Houston was and I don't know if I'm going to call him a big loser of the free agency time because they didn't really have any room or any space to really do something. It was almost like just sign and trade possibility.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call them a loser. It was just kind of they didn't get there wasn't anything done.
Well, I'll call him a loser because I can't stand Daryl Morey. I feel like the guy is extremely arrogant for somebody who hasn't accomplished anything. His owner put him on notice saying that everybody was on the trading block. You go out there with all the incentives and you can't get a deal done. I always remember back to when he called Mason in Ireland and he's gloating about the fact that he was able to pry Dwight Howard from us.
Yeah.
They got nothing out of that whole situation.
Yeah.
They got nothing out of this situation. Almost nothing makes me feel better than seeing Houston Rockets fail. They could not beat Golden State when Kevin Durant went down one game. I'm glad to see that they didn't get anybody. I think their window's closed, and I'm going to get rid of those guys.
I think their window's closed too.
Yeah,
I mean, people
definitely
think they're still going to be a top 3 team in the West. I'm sorry, no. Once Anthony Davis went to LA, Houston is no longer a top 3 team in the West.
I agree. Push them down the ladder. Denver re-signed Paul Millsap.
That could be a top 3 team in the West.
I think so. You're going to have the rookie that they drafted last year who didn't play at all. He's going to come back. Everybody's saying that he's looking fantastic in the gym. They're trying to extend Murray, put him on lengthy contract, which I mean that's definitely going to help that team out. Denver definitely could be a problem next year. They're very deep. You have some guys that are stars at a lot of multiple positions. You have Jokic, who was an MVP caliber player last year. They're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So Denver, they stood pat again, re-signing Millsap, not letting him leave. I think was a good move for them.
How about let's talk about real quick before we get into more free agency. How about the move of a guy who is already on a team who just got paid? Which Damian Lillard.
Oh man,
my God, Damian Lillard!
Man.
I swear, like
good for you.
197 or something like that. Dude, that shot that sent Oklahoma City away probably was worth $25 million. That's crazy money.
Absolutely,
that was crazy money.
I mean, the guy's already on a 2-year, $61 million deal. You extend him for an additional 196, 190, whatever it is, 190.
Good for him.
Yeah. Oh man, represent Oakland, man. Represent the Bay Area.
And he's gonna the dude gives back.
Definitely.
We live in Bay Area. This guy gives back to anytime he can. This man reps Oakland just like Marshawn Lynch, dude.
Marshawn.
He loves where he's from.
Definitely.
He's not afraid to say it. He always comes back. He reps them in every other sport. He's awesome. Definitely. So you know what? listen, it was a tough series what happened against the Warriors every second half last year.
Yeah.
But I just can't hate Damian Lillard. He's too likable.
Couldn't happen to a better person, man.
Yeah.
The guy's a steward for the NBA. Consummate professional. Even with the whole Westbrook situation, Westbrook's trying to goad him into some nonsense.
Yeah.
All he did was just hit a game-winning shot against Paul George
And wave goodbye.
Send them on their way.
Yeah.
Send them on their merry
See ya.
way. So
Yeah, that was good.
nothing but respect for Damian Lillard. Which now leads us into the New York Knicks.
Oh man,
I
almost feel bad. I almost feel bad for him a little bit.
You look at their situation;
we were there 2 years ago.
Yeah,
we were there 2 years ago with all these young guys,
Yeah.
not knowing. I mean, stuck with Deng and Mozgov's contract. I mean, dude, they don't have that bad of contracts lingering, but they have a bunch of young guys, and they thought they were going to do better. First, let's talk about not only like the fact that they whiffed. Talk a little bit about what is Dolan's mindset when he's thinking about Kevin Durant.
I mean, the reports come out that he wasn't willing to give him a max deal is just absurd. If you have a team in Golden State, which is where Kevin Durant currently played, and they're willing to give him a max deal, how would you not, being a team that's star deficient, not be willing to give that guy a max deal?
Oh man!
I mean, the team across the river in Brooklyn was willing to give him a max deal.
The
You've been talking
Warriors,
about this guy, the team he just came from.
They know his health
better
history.
than anybody. Yeah, they have
they
medical
were willing
records.
to give him a max deal.
I don't get it. I mean, James Dolan, he found a way to bungle this situation again.
But, and here's the thing too, is that like if Dolan knows, and look at we all know that like these ownership meetings, these meetings with players and agents and all that stuff, there's so much that happens that never gets out.
Yeah.
No analyst on no 4-letter network or 3-letter network even knows what the heck is said.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that Dolan didn't understand when he said, I'm not going max on Durant, also was saying goodbye to Kyrie.
Yeah.
Like, you have to know that. If you don't, man, like, every
You shouldn't
Knick,
be in a position you're in.
okay, exactly.
Yeah.
Every Knick fan has already said it, but dude, just sell the team.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you didn't understand that also cost you Kyrie Irving, I can't help you. Like, nobody can help you.
Nobody can, yeah.
Like, it's basically give Durant max deal. You probably got Kyrie with it. Almost positive you got Kyrie with it. You now have your two guys. You're now giving the fan base what they want. If they don't win together, it's almost like the Carmelo situation. I'm sorry, we're trying.
Yeah.
Like, we brought in these two
Yeah,
guys.
we did all we could.
have a couple young dudes to play with them.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do? Now, you're just a guy who just said no.
Yeah.
I don't want to take that risk. Again, I don't want to take that risk in the number one spot, media market, the number one place in America.
Yeah.
And you said no. Why? Like, why?
Again, this is the same guy who kicked out Charles Oakley out of a game. I mean, it's the same guy who told everybody, I'm the main shareholder of this team, and I think to him, it's a matter of, I'm the chairman of the Knicks. It's not I want to make this team better. It's not, I want to do what it takes to put a winning product on the court. It's, hey, I want to tell people that I own the Knicks and I want to impress some girls.
It's true.
That's pretty much what it looks
true.
like to me. Nepotism at its absolute worst. The guy inherited the team from his dad. He's literally had, I could count the number of successful seasons on one hand.
Yeah.
You have your Patrick Ewing years where they got to the finals. You had your 1 year with Carmelo. And you've had a bunch of crap since then.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's bad when a team during free agency signs a guy for $20 million, which, by the way, when he's going to be in his 7th and 8th year making $20 million, the Knicks are going to love it. When they can sign a guy like Julius Randle for $20 million a year, right? Averaging over 20 and 10, which he's going to do because Randall's becoming that type of player, and you're still a loser at NBA free agency. That's a problem, dude. You signed a 3-year, $63 million for a young 24-year-old in Julius Randle, and your team is still a loser because of the expectations that you had.
Yeah.
Like, that's bad. And they got Taj Gibson, too. Which
blew me away.
Okay, fine. I mean, those are good signings.
Good solid players. Yeah.
Like if a contender makes those signings, you're like, damn, you got Julius Randle for $20 million a year.
Yeah, you
But
won.
when the Knicks did that, trying to get Durant, you went Durant and Kyrie and went Taj and Julius Randle. Like,
not quite the same.
You're still a loser here. I'm sorry. It's just the way it goes.
Not quite the same.
You got Barrett coming. And you got Kevin Knox.
Yeah.
And you got little young pieces, and I get
Smith
it.
Jr.
But you're not, dude.
Frank Ntilikina.
You didn't want to max for KD. That's all I can say.
There's no excuse for that. You've been talking about this guy all year long. We knew that he was going to leave Golden State. You were the front runner. It was yours to lose, and you lost it.
Which, by the way, can we talk about that real quick? Not to have a super swift change the subject, but Durant was never staying with Golden State.
No.
Dude, the guy, Draymond Green told him to leave during the season saying you didn't need him.
Yeah.
Everybody, dude, Durant was never staying at Golden State.
Yeah.
And we live up here, we're near a lot of these fans. Look, I'm not going to call their fans dumb for thinking it because they're believing the media market that's telling them this, but Durant was always leaving.
Yeah, there was no question about it. I mean, the guy couldn't have made it more obvious. The way he was interacting with his teammates, the way that he was always referring to himself as me and them, he would always alienate himself. I think the first year that he was there, he actually enjoyed himself.
Yeah.
But once you start hearing from the Bay Area fans about how this is never going to be his team and they don't need him to win.
That's not a lie, though.
I mean,
it's going to be Steph's team.
It's going to be Steph's. It's always going to be Steph's team. It's just like with the Yankees when Jeter and A-Rod came over.
It was always Jeter's team. And A-Rod was putting up better stats.
A-Rod was a better shortstop at the time. But what does everybody say? The Yankees were always Jeter's squad.
Yep.
It's the same situation. We drafted Steph. We've cultivated Steph. We've seen him progress throughout all these years. We saw him when he had his ankle problems. Mm-hmm. Now he's a two-time MVP. This is his team. He got us to prominence. Yep. We're always going to support him. Kevin Durant, unfortunately, he's one of these guys that's very moody, very emotional. Yep. He heard the grumblings of the fans and said, you know what, I can go somewhere else. Yeah. And I think that after that first year, he started seeing it, and he was like, no matter what I do, I'm never going to be appreciated here.
I'm never going to be the number one guy.
Never.
I don't even think he would have ever passed up Clay. They love Clay before more than Durant.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
100%.
Even though Durant is unguardable, impossible when he's hitting the shot. I mean, Clay's a freak two-way guard, and they're making the right choice by offering it to him. They're both got major injuries, but they made the right choice offering it to Clay. Man, Clay's their guy.
He put the work in. Same thing as Steph. He was drafted by this team. This organization watched him grow, watched them turn into the Splash Brothers together. I mean, like you said, his injury is less severe than KD's is. He's going to be out for less time. You'll probably see Clay sometime next year. Mm-hmm. I think that the Warriors are in a good spot. They're going to be fighting for middle of the pack, fourth, maybe fifth seed. Clay comes back. He's going to give them that extra firepower that they're going to need for that push to the playoffs. Yep. And I think they're going to be all right. They're not going to be championship contenders, I don't think. Maybe they will be. Who knows? Yeah. But next year, I think they're going to take a step back, obviously, losing Durant. And we'll see how it goes for them. Yeah.